saints all marching in.
Like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Wow, that's great. Now I have another question about, if you give the word of wisdom to the next generation. Well, I heard what your life principles and so forth. So how would you tell our next generation, this is the life principle I live by. I hope you remember and continue. What would you say?
I live by the search for truth because of my literature background and so many readings. But in the church, I have found that while I ask many questions, and sometimes I love the church and what it says, but I don't always agree. But if I search for the truth, even sometimes questioning, you just fall into Jesus' arms. Because Jesus is the truth.
Yes.
I think of Pilate and what is truth, and he stood right before him. And the truth was always lived. It wasn't doctrine so much as it was love. And so long as love is what... Dorothy Day said something that I've lived with. Love is the measure by which we will be judged. Nothing else. How do we relate to you, and to you, and to you I don't know, and to God?
Yes.
So
yes.
love is where... That's what I've tried to teach my kids. My kids are all everywhere.
Yeah.
But I love them dearly, and there's nobody that could take better care of me than they do.
Absolutely.
And I lost my daughter.
I'm sorry.
And she was the one who told the boys, how to behave, what to do, what they were doing wrong. She called the shots. She was so good, and they all listened to her.
Was it more like a mother-daughter team?
Yeah, she was great.
Influence.
She was, and so I've had wonderful experiences and a great family, and an extended family now.
True.
When Biffy died, her husband bought a farm together with her in Pennsylvania, and after she died, they bought it together because Biff said, "Jim, you've always wanted a farm. Come out by State College where you love it." And that barn he fixed so that we had the whole family, all 40 some of us, had our Thanksgiving, and that was our regular
really?
a place where we could get together.
That's right.
He married again. Tom married them.
Oh, I see.
Anne was a widow, and we love her. Nobody takes Biffy's place anywhere.
Yeah.
But she is a different love, and she is part of the family and keeps in touch with all the grandchildren and everybody, so it's continuing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Do you have anything else you would like to add before we...
Just that I love the church here.
Yeah.
I love the church in Tuckerton.
Oh, you know what? I didn't ask you about this. How did you come to the Manahawkin Methodist Church?
I came because when we retired here, the first thing we did Sunday was go around to different churches.
Oh, I see.
And we didn't want to be on the island, sinking out of sight whenever it went.
Right.
So we came over here to the Methodist Church, being Methodist. First time we were here, this gentleman walked out, and it turned out he was the assistant minister, minister of calling, and I forgot his name, at the Riverside Cathedral in New York, where we went whenever we had a chance.
Yeah.
He said, and Tom introduced, we recognized him, and so we introduced ourselves, and He said, you won't find a better church than this one.
Oh, wow, really?
So we never looked anywhere else. Now, the name of the pastor,
Yeah.
he had a wife, Sarah, who we named the Sarah Circle. And it'll come to me in my sleep. I know. He took us right in. He had Tom teaching a Bible study.
That's right, yeah.
He was the most loving, retired the first year we were there. And then we had the first woman minister they had ever had, which wasn't too.
Was it Linda or something?
I've forgotten her name, but
so minister name could be Lecomte? No?
Pastor Lacombe.
Lecomte, right?
Pastor
yeah,
Lacombe
yeah.
took us right in. His wife used to cook the suppers in the old kitchen in her bare feet. She was a wonderful cook. They invited us right over to supper, you know. And we felt so much Methodist here. And so then when the first woman, who was the first woman after Lacombe?
I think someone like we have a picture of her, but I forgot.
Vivian Rotifer was
the second one.
Was the one who got me all involved in this preaching on.
Was it Carol? She married.
She married one of the former active
ministers.
Ministers.
That's right.
I'll think of her name too. You know who would know is Dick Neal. You know, because he was here.
That's right.
They joined about the time that we did.
Yeah. You know, I asked for an interview with him, but he declined. He says, you know, his mental capacity is not as good as his, so he declined. But
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
So then Tuckerton Church, you know,
and
Ed called him, hey, you're doing nothing here. So
so help out. So, and Tom loves it, you know,
I'm sure,
and of course they got all involved in the Methodist Award for Peace, and Tom was always, Ed had an office upstairs in the house next to the church.
Okay.
And Tom had an office off the kitchen in a closet. And he kept coming up with ideas, and he'd go to the foot of the stairs and call him, hey, Ed, let's do something. And Ed would say, no. They had a great relationship. I think of him now as one of my kids, you know, because they got on so well, and they did a lot together. Everything that Tom thought up, Ed would, okay, we'll try that, maybe. Some of it was and some of it wasn't, but Tom was always one who wanted to try this, you know. Let's meet them. Let's do this.
That's
and
great.
His ministry was always just one of loving the people and not wanting to move,
you know,
but then finding a new place where he could love them just as much. You know?
Absolutely. You know, I still wish that Reverend Tom would preach one sermon here, but I keep asking, but he keeps declining.
No, it reached the point with what Dick is saying. He just didn't feel that he could carry it. His mind we will always be one. I know what he's thinking. He knows what I'm thinking, but he is now not. His memory isn't good. First place we went to eat when we were over in Tuckerton, we went to the clam bar down in.
What is that?
Well, anyhow, it'll come to me. Allen's. Everybody went to Allen's. You had fish there, fresh right off the dock, and so we'd go every Friday night because that we could afford, and that was something when we were in Tuckerton. Last two weeks ago, Kenny and Chris took us out because it's easily accessible to Allen's Clam Bar. And Tom came in and sat down and he said, haven't we been here before?
Yeah.
See, that's where we are now. He's with it, and yet he's not, and it's progressing. And but I know where he is, and he knows where I am. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Now, thinking of it, you married when? 1950, was it 4? No, he started the ministry in
yeah. It
1954.
was 74 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. I think you're the longest couple in marriage.
Yeah, well, because
74.
I lost my mother. I was kind of at loose ends. Then didn't get to college.
Yeah.
Tom was a neighbor, and
Oh, he was, yeah.
in Muncie.
Yeah.
I was on a farm. We went to the same high
Same
school,
high school, yeah.
and we became, both of us, involved in the Tiger's Den, which was the youth place of gathering for high school kids, which was monitored by Mr. Ross, a widower, who, God bless him, put up with teenagers and their music, and it was upstairs in a little place in Spring Valley where every Friday and Saturday night we could go to dance and to
Yeah,
there were
that's right.
Coke machines. We could sit around and talk. That was it.
Thank you so very much.
It's too much,
Oh,
and
no.
it's disorganized because
no, that's all right.
I tried to put it with the questions because I know it's all so important in
It
the
is.
church.
Yeah.
Because the church is connectional, and we're connected to one another, different as we are.
Absolutely. No, let you know that this is the longest interview I ever had.
Oh,
No. It's not a shame. I'm so excited, and I'm already thinking, how am I going to put this series like how long? Normally, others like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and so. I mean, don't feel bad. I'm so delighted. I'm thinking of maybe.
well, you don't have to use it.
Oh no.
For heaven's sake. Do
No, I'm so glad that you're well prepared and all this. And
well,
thank you so very much.
because you made me think it through, and I was trying to think, what can I leave out? And
I know it. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'll say the final word. So this concludes our interview with Joyce, and we're truly blessed to have her. And we didn't even have time to mention her involvement with the Women's Society and and all other things. But anyway, thank you. God bless.